Hi, my name is Saeed, and this is the behind the scenes story. While the film industry is notoriously hard to get started in, it is one of the most interesting jobs and journeys one can go on. You might be well aware that cinema as a cultural institution has been studied by researchers all around the world. On the surface, all we can see is the finished product of a very well done film or movie. A story that once was generated in one's mind, went through a filter of hard work and a team of passionate and talented individuals, creating a fine imagery to manipulate emotions for us audience. We've all fallen in love with an individual performance. We've all shaken our fist at a bad guy. And we've all sweated like hell during a horror film. While every production is different and the number of people working behind the camera will vary depending on budget, time frame, and other details, I personally believe that the soul of every single one of them comes to the same objection. We are all emotionally invested. The people you meet, the stories you share, and the moments that make you laugh and giggle, wanting everything and everyone feel involved. So, cinema clearly has some sort of sensual ability to affect every one of our emotions, and we're pretty much all susceptible. For this reason, we might conclude that we process the events we see on the big screen in the exact same way as real life goes. And this is in fact one of the big ideas explored, as well as asking why sometimes we find it hard to distinguish between fiction and reality, suggesting that we can't pinpoint the precise sources of our memories. Similarly, happy emotions in movies are pretty invulnerable to betrayal and heartbreak. As Aristotle originated the idea, is the psychological proximity one might have to an artistic narrative and its depiction. One can be too close and therefore traumatized, too far and therefore untouched and bored, or optimally distanced and thus effectively moved, and Aristotle saw it, catharticized. Appropriate distance differs among cultures. Our narratives are usually less distant than the Greek tragedies. Whether you are a filmmaker, a film student, a film scholar, or someone who is just trying to tell a good story or enjoy a really good story, I hope you can find movies educational, and the making of it a place for people with the same passion to bond. As Walter Murch puts it, how do you want the audience to feel? If they are feeling what you want them to feel all the way through the film, you've done about as much as you can ever do. What they find and remember is not the editing, not the camera work, not the performance, not even the story. It's how they felt. Directing is like casting. While it's certainly true with actors, I think the same principle applies to your creative crew. When you have a clear, aesthetic vision, when you create a space where people can bring their talent and experience to do their best work, finding collaborators who will challenge your ideas and push you creatively. With ambition goals and limited resources, everyone stretches themselves to make something much grander than any of us could ever imagine. Usually the central problem is not finding good ideas, it's finding good people. The lasting relationship that matters, and sharing some basic beliefs that talent is rare. That management's job is not to prevent risk, but to build the capability to recover when failure occurs. It must be safe to tell the truth. We must constantly challenge all of our assumptions and search for the flaws that could destroy our culture. People tend to think of creativity as a mysterious solo act, and they typically reduce products to a single idea. However, in filmmaking and many other kind of complex product development, creativity involves a large number of people from different disciplines working effectively together to solve a great many problems. The initial idea for the movie, what people in the movie business call the high concept, is merely one step in a long process that takes 4 to 5 years. Creativity must be present at every level of every artistic and technical part of the organization. If you give a good idea to a mediocre team, they'll screw it up. But if you give a mediocre idea to a great team, they'll make it work. At the end, I like to leave you with this. Any characters in any film tries to live honestly and make the most of the lives they've been given. I believe you must live honestly and develop your abilities to the full. The people who do this are the real heroes.